Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Constance the Reader, and today we're going to be doing the no disclaimers book tag. I do not know who the creator of this is. I looked at, well, two different things when I was deciding what book tags I wanted to do. One of them, the booktuber did not know the creator. The book blogger didn't know the creator. So if you know the creator of this book tag, put it down in the comments so I give them credit. If not, then this is just going to continue without a creator. You know, whoever you are out in the universe, thank you. But this is the no disclaimers book tag. So we're going to jump right into it because it's not that long. Question one, which tropes in books annoy you the most? I'm not a fan of the miscommunication trope in romance. I know that there has to be like a third act situation, but sometimes it's just really frustrating. So for example, in Get a Life, Chloe Brown, that one pissed me off because I felt like after everything Red and Chloe had been through, the fact that Red got mad when he saw what he saw, he already had anger issues in my opinion, by the way. That really pissed me off. And I thought, was that even really necessary? Ugh, not worth it. Not worth it at all. But in The Heart Principle, I thought that was done really well because I felt like it wasn't this irrational thing that Quan got mad at Anna for. Like, I think he had every right to get really frustrated with her and her family. And that, I mean, it's not a surprise. In a romance book, they always come together in the end. So I liked that one. I think that there can be a way to do it in a way that I like it and a way that I don't like it. And could I do away with the miscommunication trope? Absolutely. I know that it has to exist to a certain extent in some books, but not my favorite. And then I don't like the, I don't know like what this trope would be called. I guess it's, you know, I'm well, the best one, Throne of Glass, female assassin. I'm better than all the other girls. Don't you know? I'm this, I'm that. I'm just so great. I don't like that kind of character. So Selena is not my favorite character in the Throne of Glass series. I like Lysandra. If you don't like Lysandra, then we did not read the same book. I love her, or you didn't make it through. Okay, so if you didn't finish the series, you need to finish the series because Lysandra is one of the best female characters in that book. And that's just a fact. But Lysandra is so much better of a like heroine female character in that series, in my opinion. And her character is amazing. Selena, she's okay. She's okay. But Lysandra, yeah, she's not like that. She's not like that. She's not like the way Selena is. Question two, which writers do you feel are overrated or overhyped? So I would say that overrated is more negative and overhyped isn't totally negative, if that makes sense. I think that somebody can be overhyped but still be really great. And might have some misses here and there just because they're so hyped up that it's an auto buy for some people and they're gonna like it regardless, even if it's really not that good. But of course it's based on opinion. And then overrated, I feel like not the best, I don't know. So as far as overrated, I think Jake Kristoff is overrated. I also think he's a bit overhyped. So my introduction to Jake Kristoff was the Illuminae Files. I listened to them as audiobooks. I really liked them. I genuinely like it as an audiobook. I tried to get into the Nevernight. I read the first book. Took me so many times to read that book. I finally did it because almost every single popular booktuber I followed read it and said that they loved it. I don't remember a single big booktuber that didn't love that series or didn't hype it up. You know what I mean? So I think Nevernight was very overhyped. The second book, I got through it. I thought at the end, did I really like it? I guess I did. I don't remember hating it. It took so long in between me reading the second book and starting the third book, Dark Age or Dark Dawn. I DNF'd it. Oh my God, I finally realized, Connie, you don't fucking like this, okay? You are pushing yourself to like this and it sucks. Okay, that's just my opinion. I just think that the series sucks. I hate the main character. I hate the shit he did in the book with the footnotes and, you know, and then he took like one of my favorite characters and just killed him and made him a spirit. It was just annoying. And then of course, the problematicness of the author, okay? He has been accused of, let me get the wording right, of not giving credit to a artist. He has been sexist. Apparently he's been racist. He was very dismissive and shitty during the Goodreads awards at the beginning of this year, the end of last year, because his book that was like 500 million pages long didn't get nominated. That's another, this newest series that he has, something vampire, Empire of the Vampire or something, that's like 700 pages for the first book in a series. I think that's where he's overhyped, and that a lot of people got that book. I'm not saying that you didn't really like it when you said you did. I'm not going to say that you did, that you're lying or anything. It's really hard for me to believe that some people didn't do what I did and convince themselves that, I guess because they finished it and they maybe didn't hate it, that they liked it. And that's what I did with Nevernight. Okay, as far as overhyped, again, when I say overhyped, I don't think it's a bad thing. Sarah J. Maas came to mind when I thought of this, when I thought of an answer for this question. So again, not bad. I think that like, and then plus like with Sarah J. Maas, it's people who really like Throne of Glass series, and then people who really like Court of Mist and Fury, and ACOTAR or whatever. I've promised a few people that I will read that other series. I've read the first book and I really didn't like it, but I loved Throne of Glass. Like I blazed through that shit. And I feel like it's so interesting that like the camps on either side. And then the other one I thought it was like Holly Black. It seems like, and I really did love The Cruel Prince. I ended up really liking it. I couldn't stop. But she just came out with another book that I've seen like a lot of people say they didn't like, and they were genuinely surprised that it was not good. So once again, just to wrap it up, I don't think overhyped means a bad thing. I just think like you hear a lot about those authors on Book Talk and BookTube and Bookstagram, and that's okay. Question 3. What was your least favorite book you've read since joining BookTube? The Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I read that the first year I started BookTube, and if you don't know what it is, it's like a girl's face, and it's like kind of separated as if written like sliced into ribbons or something, and like shit's coming out of it, so like foliage and shit. It's like I don't want to give too much away for people who haven't read it before, but basically it's like an island of girls who are infected with this thing. So some people, like they're growing limbs out of their face, or they're turning into a stone, stuff like that. And it's kind of like dystopian, something having to do with, oh, see, that's a secret. Okay, so I can't say it. Basically, the twist that happens in this book, I've seen it done by other authors and I liked it better. So the twist, if you know what it is, like I liked it better with Mira Grant. She did a series that I thought was really good, which was like Feed. There was another one I read, I cannot remember what it was. The Trope. I thought that was kind of done better too. So I didn't hate it, I just didn't really like it. That's the only one that stood out in my mind of the one that was the least exciting. Question 4, what's a terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book? Into the Woods by Tana French. Basically because like I feel like it got set up so much for us to like find out why this detective has all of this trauma from this like possible murder that happened of his friends, and spoiler alert, you never fucking find out what it was. So I think that the book itself was really slow going, and then it's been building up this whole time. Like he keeps having flashbacks of when he was a kid, and then you never find out what happened. Now, I don't know if there's more books in that series, and you eventually do. At that point, I was done with it. I did not care to know anymore. That really ruined it for me. And then I believe that the Night Angel, so it's been so long since I've read the Night Angel series by Brent Weeks, but I vaguely remember the end of the last book in the trilogy just not being satisfying. And the ending was kind of rushed. So like somebody dies at the end of that book that I thought, now that, why was that necessary? Why do we wrap it up like that? And to be honest, I have a feeling that had I ever finished the Lightbringer series, because by that time, goddamn, them books were so long, I couldn't do it anymore. I'm pretty sure at the end of that series, which is book 5, I probably would have been disappointed at the end of it too, because I know that somebody has to die, and I don't think I would be satisfied with who he killed off eventually. Question 5, which fictional character do you wish was not killed off? So the first book in the Women's War trilogy, which is Women's War, somebody is killed at the very end of the book. And I was so sure that this character was going to make it. I thought they were going to get out alive. I thought that they were going to go into hiding. I was just so sure that they were going to live because they had found a way to like slip the clutches of the antagonist, the bad guy, in the first book. And it didn't happen. And they die. And the way that it was presented to that person, their family member, was so horrific. I was so mad and so sad. That death, I don't think it had to happen. I really don't. I really, really don't. Other than that, well, I just read Chainsaw Man. I was lost for the longest time. I just ordered the last book in the series, which is volume 11. 3 characters just died. I was very shocked. Okay, volume 9 of Chainsaw Man is sad. It's very sad. And I really didn't want that character to die. So those are my answers. Question 6. What are some of your bookish pet peeves? I didn't really know how to answer this. I didn't know if it was like character thing or like a book thing. I'm gonna go for like, I think the natural one that most people say, you know, the dog-eared versus bookmark thing. I don't mind a dog ear. Okay, I dog ear if I don't have my little tabs, the little sticky tabs. But I do think it is inappropriate to dog ear other people's books unless they don't care. Because, and I think everybody can agree with this, not everybody's dog ears are the same, okay? Some people dog ear like a puppy, okay? Tiny, very, very tiny, maybe Chihuahua or French Bulldog, okay? Not big old Basset Hound ass dog ears. I'm not fat dog ear person. I don't like that. And some people are like that. I'm a tiny dog ear person. So I feel like do as you will with your own books, bookmark, dog ear, whatever. But if you borrow someone's book, you should get a bookmark, okay? Get a receipt. You know when you tear open like dog treats and like you have that flyaway like piece of the bag that you could just throw, you could use that. I don't care. As long as there's no food on it. I have an air freshener hanging off of this tripod because it was Megan Thee Stallion. Use the air freshener. My book will smell good. How about that? I don't care what you use. Just don't dog ear it if it's not yours, unless they've already said it's okay. I don't like, I think, you know, I already mentioned tropes, so those are things I don't like. Other than that, the only other thing I could think of was like, I don't like deckled edges on pages. I don't find them appealing. I don't care what era we're going for with the theme of the book. If we're going like old English, just make them regular pages, please. The deckled edges, I think they're ugly, and I also don't like the way they feel or the way they look. I'll pass on that. Question 7. What are some books you feel should have more recognition? So, the Women's War trilogy. I love them. I really do. I love that series so much. When I first got into it, it was the first year I started BookTube. So when I finished that book, which I devoured, it's a fantasy, and it's adult fantasy that's over 500 pages. It had been so long since I read one of those, and it got me. It got its claws in me and hooked me. And then I went to go look at other people's reviews, and it was like a handful of people who read the book and they made one video, and then I never saw them ever again. Like, they just did that video and that was it. And I really want to reread the series so I can do a series review. I had wanted to do that my first year of BookTube, and I was just so bad about talking in front of a camera, so had to cut it. But I love that series. I don't see a lot of people talk about it. I think it's really great. I love the characters. That first book just sucked me in so much, and the ending, I was crying in my car because I read it at work, and it was summertime. Okay, so I had to have the windows down because I had my car on for too long. I was hot and crying, and I stuck with it, and I was reading it on my phone. Okay, that's how bad. I didn't bring my Kindle with me. I had to read it on my phone. That's how much this one got me. It was so good. And then other than that, I don't think that these don't get enough recognition. I just feel like, I think that this kind of genre, if that's the right word, is can be intimidating and then boring for some people, but nonfiction. I really love nonfiction books. I think that not a lot of people read them, and that's totally fine. You do not have to like nonfiction, but I do think that there's some really awesome nonfiction books out there that I've read, even more so now that I'm on BookTube, that I think a lot of people should go for. So if you can see behind me, I have a whole row here of nonfiction. I have nonfiction below. I have a nonfiction shelf in my living room. There's a nonfiction there. There's nonfiction above me. I have a lot of nonfiction. Once again, I buy a little bit more than I can keep up with, but that's not the point. I think that more people, you know what, do yourself a favor. You can take your time with nonfiction. Okay, you don't have to, with a memoir or anything, you don't have to rush through it. You really, really don't. Take your time, especially if you want to get more knowledgeable on something. You know, it's nice and helpful, but also, like, I said this in my review of my May wrap up. You know, I read the new handbook for a post-Roe America. Is a lot of this stuff things I'm familiar with? Yes. But there's always something new to learn, and sometimes it's just nice to refresh yourself, but with a different author. So the way that the author of Without Struggle wrote is a bit different than Robin Marty, which is a bit different from Kathy Pollitt. So okay, you know, so it's not as though I don't think they get recognition. I don't think a lot of people read them. It's okay if you don't, but you know, give them a try sometimes. I think you would like some of them. And then of course, Women's War, I loved it. And then is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else that doesn't get enough recognition that I've seen. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Question 8, what are your thoughts on censorship and banning books? I don't agree with banning books. I really don't, especially because oftentimes the books that end up on the list of banned books, there's nothing wrong with them. They're more, I guess, liberal. A lot of people like to say too woke. Shut the fuck up. And it bothers me. I posted a bit earlier or late last month about Virginia. There are a few schools that want to ban some books, and some of the books that are on there, All Boys Aren't Blue, Gender Queer. Oh man, there was another like book of poems that was banned, and the reason why they wanted to ban it was because the poet basically had a poem in there about a young boy whose family member dies from like a police shooting, and then him talking about his anger and his frustration and his sadness because of this, and they felt that was too violent and anti-cop. Shut the fuck up. All disrespect, okay? So, you know, unfortunately, I think banning books, it only seems to affect a certain kind of book. And most of the time, people who want to ban those books have never read them. And then if they did read them, I don't think they're able to be unbiased when reading them. And it's just really sad because I think that, you know, I'm 32. I know when I go to the bookstore what books I don't want to read. I don't want to read books that are pro-Trump or, you know, have any type of hate speech in them. I don't want to read those. I think that most kids are good about, well, first of all, I don't remember anything being super offensive in my library when I was growing up, and I went to school in Virginia this whole time. I remember getting books that were really cool and different, and then my mom let me explore things with reading. I think that's important for kids, and most libraries in public schools aren't going to have something in the elementary school that you would see at the high school or at college. And I think that goes back to the dumb shit that happens in this country. Specifically, I'll give Virginia as an example. Governor Youngkin ran on CRT. We don't want CRT in schools. They don't teach CRT in Virginia. So that was just an empty promise, but it was something that could, you know, make people like, oh yeah, yeah. So are any of the books that they want to put on the list even in elementary school? I don't think so. So anyway, so I don't start rambling because I could go on and on. Don't agree with it. Think that it affects the wrong kind of people and books, and it stops people from learning. And censorship, again, it seems to target more liberal, like thought-provoking works of art. That if people were just willing to be more open-minded and, you know, less like uncomfortable with talking to their kids or whatever and talking to other people, you would see it's really not that big of a deal, and it's something that you can learn from. That's that. And last, who do I tag? I tag anybody who watches this video. If you want to do this, you know, tag, please feel free. All the questions will be in the description box. And let me know what you thought about the no disclaimer tag. And like I said, if you know the creator, let me know, so I give them credit in the description box. So that is the no disclaimer book tag. What did you think? How would you answer some of these questions? Let me know. What do you think about the overhyped, overrated thing? I'd get a little messy in the comments if you want. I would love it. I'm totally fine with the messiness if that's what you would like to do. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like it, subscribe. Follow me on other social medias. That's in the description box too. Just, you know, let's make a big old Connie in your face moment. How about that? But thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.